Hey everybody, Craig Warrack here with a review of the Street Fighter V RYU figure from Storm Collectibles. Storm Collectibles are a new challenger on the market and they've done really great work with the Mortal Kombat Scorpion figure, and RYU here is also looking excellent, so I can't wait to dive in and get a good look at him. First of all, let's take a look at the box. The graphics are looking pretty good. A nice window there so we can see what's included. On the sides you get a view of RYU himself, and on the back you get a view of the figure, all the different poses it can hit and the accessories. You get a bio of RYU, it's in Japanese. Did you know he doesn't like spiders? Random, but there we go. And I'm sure there's a load of fan wank about what he's about, but hey, he's the guy in the top left. That's who you choose first. It's RYU. Interesting to note is that Storm Collectibles say this figure's production has been supervised by Kiki, and Kiki is one of the game character designers for Street Fighter V. So I guess the creators of this character design have had some say in the figure. That's pretty cool. RYU is looking amazing out of the box. He comes with everything you see here. Of course, the main figure. Also this cardboard backdrop, which while it's a nice insert, isn't going to put the Diostructure Facebook group out of commission anytime soon. He does come with a, I want to say flight stand, but Tatsumaki Senpu kick stand might be better in this case. He also has all of the accessories here. You'll see he has 4 pairs of alternate hands. The fists that he comes packaged with, then open hands, gripping hands, and Hadoken projecting hands, I guess. And speaking of Hadoken, here we are. We've got the Hadoken effect itself. There's 2 versions here, the main one and then a sort of EX powered up. I've not played Street Fighter V, I don't know what they call it these days. Beyond that, he also has these alternate faces. I'm going to call them the clenching face and the release face. But before we look further at the accessories, let's look at the main figure itself. The face that RYU comes boxed with is suitably stern, and his gi is looking old and worn. It's looking really, really nice with all that paint detail there. Also the kanji characters on his belt, mimicking the kanji characters that were on his stage in Street Fighter 2. I'm old school, I know that kind of thing. But all round this figure is looking awesome. The paint detail on his gloves, the scuffing, the wearing, the tearing on his gi is just looking really, really nice. And again, we get that same attention to detail on the reverse of the figure, even extending into the little bit of a wash there on his bandana to make it look worn. RYU's face is extremely well painted with some nice subtle variations in tone across the cheeks and ears to give it a bit of a blush. And of course the lips are done in a darker colour. Also his eyes are very nicely done. They're pointing in the right direction, which is always a bonus, but they also have a nice gloss to them, which really makes them look alive. His eyebrows, as you can see, extend over his bandana in that anime way that they do in the game. And this also helps it to separate from the figure, so you can swap out his face. For example, there we go, the screaming face he's got there. Again, with very nice paint application inside the mouth, and his clenching teeth face. There we go. All 3 faces are very well done with the same attention to detail and care. Probably needs popped on a bit harder there to stop that join. It's still a little noticeable, but not something I would be overly concerned about at a distance. RYU's hands are also easy to swap. Just give the wrist a tug here and it'll pop off. The little red band here is removable, but it just hides the articulation that's happening underneath. And you just pop the other hand over the top and there we go, he's got his new hand. It's of course great to be getting all of these hands, but apart from the fists, they're all very similar. They're all slight variations on a theme of open hand with a little bit of a finger moving in a different direction. Still, it's great that we got them. Would it be nice if we got something more gestural, a come here finger, a pointing finger? I don't know, even the Chun-Li peace sign. They might be saving them up for another time, who knows. Anyway, the ones we're interested in just now are these hands that have the fingers very much evenly spaced out. These are the ones that we use to hold the Hadoken. There are little indents for the fingers to slot into, and they slot in fairly easily once you find the right pair of hands. Given that the hands are also similar, it can be difficult to identify them. But once they're in, the hands are sculpted and the effect is sculpted around them, so they're working in tandem to give that Hadoken effect. Let's get it on RYU. Shinku Hadouken! And Ryu looks great with his Hadouken flying. It was an actual pain in the official arse to get that pose though, and the balance is still a little bit wobbly. With a bit more practice I could probably get much better at it, but this is where we're at just now. As I mentioned earlier, Ryu also comes with this power-up effect for his fireball, which has little notches on it, and you just are supposed to push it on over the top of the fireball. It's supposed to just snap in place. But I have some trouble with it, and I'm not even going to pretend that Ryu is going to stay standing up. There we go! Hadouken! Sorry. KO! And what's a Street Fighter figure without articulation? Ryu looks side to side, of course, fully rotates there, and he looks down a little bit and up, not a huge amount either. His shoulders move up this far and down. They're also on a butterfly joint that lets them move back that much and forward that much. There's a rotation at the top of the bicep there, a double jointed elbow, which unfortunately doesn't give a great deal of motion, just 90 degrees. And of course he rotates and has a hinge at the wrist as well, so there's lots of movement there. To get a better look at the articulation under the gi, I've removed it. I wouldn't recommend doing it as it was a pain to do so, and I'm imagining it's going to be even more of a pain to put it back. He has rotation here, just under his pectorals, and here at the waist. He doesn't have a whole lot of an ab crunch, but these two do have a bit of a swivel put together, and that's as much as he goes forward and back. Of course the gi inhibits that a little. Fully dressed again, Ryu's legs kick this far out to the side, this far forward even, and let's just see, that far back. They rotate at the top of the hip there. There's also a double jointed knee which bends this far. There's rotation just under his pant leg there, and a slight ankle rocker, not as much as I'd like, a hinge, and also a hinged toe. And as the master of YouTube figure reviews once said, this is his widest possible stance with both feet flat on the floor, again let down a bit by the pivots in his ankles. The stand that Ryu comes with also has articulation. It's ratcheted, meaning it's quite stiff to move at times, moving up and down. Also the grip here is also ratcheted, moving up that way. That'll give it a nice firm grip. These are spring loaded, so they don't hold open, they'll grip the figure, and it also rotates again like that, and it's ratcheted again. And this is Ryu using the flight stand in his Dragon Punch pose, Shoryuken, and also giving us his whirlwind kick. And here's a height comparison of Ryu along with Marvel Legends Iron Fist and the SH Figure Arts Tony Stark. I do only have this Sota Street Fighter figure left. Poor old Gen, he's given his arms up to the customizing gods long ago. As you can see, Ryu is probably in about a 7-inch scale, so he probably fits better with your NECA figures than he does your Marvel figures, but with some decent posing you could probably fudge him into most displays. So at the end of the day, Ryu is a visually stunning figure with a great sculpt and fantastic paint. He really captures that burly and beefy look of the Street Fighter V characters. However, in practice that aesthetic does actually inhibit his articulation somewhat, and that's disappointing for a fighting game character. Also, his size makes him incompatible mostly with my Marvel Legend collection, which is my primary collection, so he won't be fighting them anytime soon, and I'm disappointed, but people have different collections, they may not feel the same way. He has a ton of accessories which are great. I would have liked to have seen more variety in the hands we get, but the alternate faces and the Hadouken effect are great if you can get them posed with it. I ordered Ryu directly from the Storm Collectibles website, and I got him shipped to the UK from Hong Kong for about £60. For those of you in the US, that's probably about $70. So weighing that all up, I've got a little bit of buyer's remorse, as I always get when I buy these sort of higher price point figures. But he is great, he does look visually stunning, and hopefully when we get some of his other Street Fighter compatriots, he'll look awesome next to them and fighting them. So I hope you've enjoyed this look at the Storm Collectibles Ryu figure. If you'd like to see more from me, I've got custom figures like my Pennywise, my Spyro and my Swarm. And I've also got 60-second showcases of figures such as the Tony Stark you saw earlier. And of course, come follow me on Instagram where you can keep up with me making custom action figures, and I'm working on this Doctor Strange you see here. So please like, comment on this video and share it around, and I hope to see you guys next time. Pour on the power.